Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Melody, and I do garden tours on this channel usually like once a week. There's a lot going on in the garden, and I will continue doing garden tours throughout the season. I am in Pennsylvania Grow Zone 7B, and some garden tours take a little bit longer, but I showed you in a previous video my bean bed, which is doing phenomenal. So we're going to get into this next garden tour. It's a little bit cooler here today, thank God. But this is a yellow squash right there in a pot outside of the bean bed. We have a sunflower. Kentucky wonder beans are doing good. It's trellising away. It is not producing yet, but that's okay. And I'm just going to trellis this up while I see this vine hanging right there. Just twist it around, it'll be fine. Kentucky pole beans, all bush beans of all different types are in here, and going all the way over to here, all bush beans. And then we have rattlesnake pole beans that are trellising up my makeshift trellis. And then we have the Chinese red noodle bean right here that is trellising up and over. And we have the first sightings of what is to become the red Chinese noodle beans. That's doing great. Oh, there's two more. I think I'm just gonna toss this over. Same on this side is some the Chinese red noodle bean that is trellising up. So I'm just gonna let that go. And then we have lima beans that I still have to trellis, obviously, because it has these vines. So I'm gonna put another trellis here for the lima beans. Never grown lima beans before, and these are all types of bush beans and the burgundy beans. Look at the beautiful flowers. I'm getting some beans. I just have to really go through it. This is what that looks like. Here's one for you. So that is the bean bed. Some flowers that were dying. Thank God we got rain, less humidity, doing really good. And then right here is the tomato bed that I salvaged from the big storm. We do have tomatoes. I mean, some of them are going to be bunched like this because I really had to pull it in. But there are tomatoes. So this is tomato bed 1 in the front. It's going to be interesting to find the tomatoes in the middle. But there are tomatoes still alive. The only thing that I've noticed is a little bit of browning underneath. Let me fix this for you. See if I can bend you down a little bit more. So underneath here, up the rows on some of them, not this bed particularly, but and this is what I find in all my beds. It's a form of a mushroom, but I was finding some browning of some leaves, but I am still trying to keep this free and clear down here of any leaves touching the ground. So from here up to there, so you can see there's no leaves touching the ground whatsoever. So I mean, there's tomatoes and buds. Bed number 1. Turn around, and this is the pepper bed that I did a video on, fish emulsion. This isn't a matter of a day, so you're not going to see overnight. But this is shishito pepper right here. Look at them all. Look at all those shishito peppers. And this is the bed that got stunted from the frost. So try it again. Tongue twister. Shishito peppers. What would I do different? I would plant this in a bigger area by itself. These are the fajita peppers that are all coming in. It's the hot fajita peppers. Yellow, and then they're starting to turn. You can see this, an orangey red. I have cowhorn coming in. So lots of peppers are coming in. I did lose quite a bit of jalapenos, but that's okay because I have more. They are coming in and looking good. And here, this looks like another shishito pepper that was put in here. This is on the hot side. This is a serrano pepper, and it's like there's nothing on it. Looks like just straight up and down plant. But look at the beautiful peppers. Lots of peppers going on in this bed. This is the half hot and the half sweet bed. Which, see if I can get you a shot. Sorry about the glare. I'm doing the best I can. Lots of peppers on this one, and I think this is a cubanella. Yeah, cubanella. This is cubanella as well. This is that nasturtium. I did trim it back after the storm because it was just enormous. Enormous. California Wonder. It's got a little pepper on there. But yeah, overall, it's doing pretty good. There's some sweet banana peppers that are ready to pick. This is my lemon basil, which I'm tickled. I saved it by just putting a stake in there. And if I have to tie it up, I'll tie it up. And I'm not sure what kind of pepper this one is. It could be a Corno de Taro pepper right here. You can see that. I know the leaves are going to be in the way. I'm trying. And then this is a Deitali pepper, but the heat was so bad here, and we know peppers love the heat, just started producing some flower buds on there. And when you see down leaves like this, take them out. So this is in a bucket. Here is that Tabasco pepper, looking much better. There's another Deitali pepper in a bucket right here that has its first little itty bitty baby pepper right there. So that just got buds within the last 2 days, but look at all the banana peppers on there. It's looking fantastic. Okay, this might not look the most appealing. We have some dead sugar snap peas on here, but I'm picking like a lot of these sugar snaps, so I'm going to let them go. I said this before, I just haven't gotten around to it. I did start a couple extra zucchini plants, a couple extra cucumber plants, in case it becomes disease ridden, and we're going to do a video on starting your seeds for fall. So this is that tower, and as you can see, it's still producing, so that's why I haven't ripped it out. This is a long cherry tomato. I think it's the bigger cherry tomato. This is the mammoth basil, some flowers. I was just picking off some dead leaves. I will pick that up. This is my herb barrel. I want to correct myself on something I said, but I was also overwhelmed due to the storm. This is dill. This will turn into dill seeds. But I picked my coriander, and I had it in my other bed out front, the kitchen herb garden, for, your dill goes to seed. I just found a baby caterpillar, so be gone. Gonna have to check your parsley around this time of year. That's not from any type of cabbage damage or any type of worm, but just start checking over because they really like this stuff about this time, and just make sure you have none eating your plants. But yeah, I have a plant in the kitchen garden that I just harvested. Let me show you. It doesn't look the greatest, and I still have more peppers in a cup, but this is what I was trying to explain. I was saving it, there's the root on it and all, for the seeds. It just drained, so I'm having it dry. So the one I just showed you is the dill. I'm saving that for the dill seeds. And this is cilantro, and I'm saving the seeds. Coriander. So I wanted to correct that. All right. And then I have another, this is still the front. I have another yellow squash that's going on that looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the blooms. It's doing quite well. And this, I decided to buy another one. So I put one in this bucket The 2 buckets are new, and the blue one that I showed you at the beginning of the video, that is the same squash plant, just a little later in planting it. This is the front of that front tomato bed. Another sunflower. You can't even see my peacock any longer that my son bought me because everything's growing good. Here's the rig job. We have marigolds down there, but this is the Roma striped tomato in here. So you gotta do what you gotta do. More flowers, zinnias, some alyssum is in here. Gotta pick off the marigolds when they look like this, like that. Another sunflower voluntarily inside this pot, along with my coneflower. So that is that section. That's the front. I covered everything in the front. But that squash plant's doing amazing. Back to the herbs. We just found that little caterpillar was on the dill. So just gonna have to like check it over, make sure there's no more, but that was one that I found and just squished. Sage is doing good. This is my oregano, parsley, curly parsley. This is my Italian oregano and regular parsley, which I'm planting more seeds for that. And a couple, this is some, I did plant some, but it's getting suffocated back there. A little bit of basil and just some green onions I can cut. So this is pretty full. That looks fantastic. Flowers, hopefully they'll pop back. Like I said, there's the mammoth basil. This is large cherry. This is the pepper bed I just showed you that got hit with the frost. That's why it doesn't look like that bed right there. I did a video on that. Sugar snap peas, the tower. This is a volunteer of some sort. I think the birds may have dropped it. The leaves are so soft. If anybody knows what this is, I mean, I have no clue. Can you see the flowers up there? Because it's starting to get bright. The sun's starting to come out. I showed you the Daytali peppers and the Tabasco pepper. This basil right here is mammoth basil, doing fantastic. Chocolate mint. Okay, I need other gardeners' help. I am trying to do my sweet potatoes in a really big, it might not look like it, it is really big container. I need to know if I should trellis this up and get this up off the ground. If you know the answer to that, let me know. That's that. That got put there, that hook, Fisher hook for flowers, got put there due to the storm. But yeah, sweet potatoes, slips are all in there. And I need to know whether or not it needs to be trellised. So let me move this Fisher hook out of the way. If I need to put this on a trellis, let me know. This was not doing good at all. Let's keep it real. The storm got to it, snapped it. It had a lot of leaves like this. Let's see if I can pinch this off. You know, just like dead. I will go back and pick up anything that I drop on the ground. I never leave that. But this is that black cherry tomato plant that's starting to produce. There was 2 in here. It really took a beating from the storm and the heat here. But today it looks pretty good because it's a lot cooler. So that's the black cherry. I will give that some fish emulsion today. And I'm just trying to take off the dead leaves. Okay. This is in the morning. So let's see. I'm going to sit you down 1 second. There is the zucchini easy pickled that I am trying to save. I showed that whole thing. We have some flowers. It's still producing. It's completely out of the bed. There is the noodle trick, which thank goodness, because I have fruit on there. Let me go around the whole thing. I have these little extra pot holders to keep the leaves up off the ground. Let me go around this way. I have 3 down here to keep the leaves off the ground. And there is some still in there growing. So thank goodness. Thank goodness. It's doing okay. This is the eggplants. There's the white eggplant. I'm trying to move the leaves out of the way for you so you can see. We got white going. I mean, look at the size of the flowers. Gorgeous. They're the first to actually produce first is the white eggplant. No, I did not have the seeds to that. I bought it. If I found something interesting this year, I bought it, but 97, 98% of everything in this garden I grew from seed. And that's why my dining room had 2 shelves in it. Sweet basil right here. I still don't, I mean, I'm seeing some flowers and they look much better. Here's the eggplant bed. It is Oswald, I have to think, unless I could see the tag in here. I know I have Oswald, I have Black Beauties, and I have Rosa Blanca eggplants all in here. They're getting tall. I never did cage them. Walking around with a bean in my hand. So that's looking pretty good. It's not looking as bad as it was getting bit, but there's flowers on everything. And then if I see a leaf like this, looks like this, I'll show you as soon as I get it off. I just pick it off. Same with marigolds. I have some onions in here. I hope you can see they're the Tokyo. Well, I have some red salad onions and some yellow salad onions in here. And I also have some Tokyo bunching onions. That whole row, I'm trying to lift up the eggplant leaves to be able to show you. It's getting a little crowded. And finally, because if you all very well know, I did not have enough carrot seeds, like rainbow carrots, and there's the germination. They're doing pretty well. They're all starting to come up. So yeah, a little slow going, but they're coming up, and I'm not weeding this at all, and so I know what's a carrot. So Tokyo bunching onions and all the eggplants are looking fantastic. This is the back side of the all sweet peppers, and there's peppers just everywhere, but this one I just noticed is leaning over really badly, so I may have to stake this because this is a good one. This is the let me see if I could find the tag and I'll give you a better look, but I'm definitely going to put a stake in that today. The peppers are knocking it over, plus the weather. Carmen Italian pepper, and it's loaded with peppers. I'll show you in 1 minute, but it's leaning over very badly right there. You can see in there it is just full of pepper, so I'm going to stake that one up. This one is the candy cane. Yeah, candy cane. And we have some red ones. These are kind of little, so I'm just going to pick them off. I do think that some of my pepper plants that I'm just noticing got a little hit from that storm and they're leaning. So what I will do is, I have some orange and white stakes. If I have to stake them, I will stake the peppers up. But yeah, it's a variegated, let me lower you down. It is a variegated pepper plant. That's why it has that white stripe. It's the candy cane. And you can see it's hanging. But in there, hopefully you can see, peppers are so big. There is green bell peppers. Yep, a little bit of yellowing. Not anything too bad. I just throw it and then I go around and pick it up. But this is loaded down with all sweet peppers. So I'm gonna have to come out here and stake quite a few. They're all doing fantastic. This is the Aunt Molly's ground cherry. I've gotten to eat a few. Multiple consensus is saying that they think it's grape. I think it tastes like pineapple, but it's getting a little bug damage on it. So if you know what this is, let me know. I want to treat it organically, but they're on there doing good. And this is the bed that had to be pushed that way of tomatoes. But as you can see, there's tomatoes on there. No sense going through them all. I've already kind of discussed what tomatoes I'm growing. Just pray that it survives being tied the way that it is. Beautiful zinnias. I think this should be moved up front because you can't really see it back here, but it's the cut and grow again. It's the bigger ones right there. I love this yellow one. It's absolutely gorgeous. I just love zinnias. They're so pretty, and I have some little ones growing in that tower. Volunteer sunflower, cucumber in there, some kale. Let's walk around here. I did plant some more cilantro, so I'm waiting for that to come in. Some bunching onions. This was an impatient. A scotched kale. Sage. Another basil. Curious to see how this cucumber plant's gonna do. But I planted, this might be the beginnings of it. I planted because it's kind of shady right here, and I also have some endive that's growing down there. I planted some more. I have to think. I have a million things on my mind. For salsa, you get the drift. So yeah, let me get the spider web out of my way. I have a little baby tomato plant in here. Some more zinnias. Kale. This is some form of a lettuce, which is doing fantastic. Fantastic. Endive's doing great on the bottom, which leads us to this bed. Spaghetti squash. There's the blooms. It's pollinating. As you can see, the bee just went straight in there, so thank God. Wanted a lot of spaghetti squash. This is the acorn squash, which I'm going to have to rig another trellis because, as you can see, but there's lots of flowers in here. Red cabbage, still doing well. Still checking it out. I did prune it. This is my experiment on leeks down there. And again, I get mushrooms in my beds. But yeah, so let's lift this one up. We're just gonna go over top of that, get it up off the ground. Cabbages are doing good. Celery is doing amazing, my friends, amazing. Very well. This is, let me think. Yeah, because that's the acorn squash. You know, it was the year of no tags. So this is a cucumber. This is cucumber starting right there. I think this is the pickling type. I'll go over there and explain more. So that cabbage doing well. I pruned it from the bottom. And then this is my mint snowball that I once hit. Tickled with it. Basil towers. A little bit better. Plus I put Joe from Garden State Gardeners Genovese basil in here. I might mulch this actually today. This is just the side. These are lemon cucumbers right here that are starting. This here is actually my pumpkins. The pumpkin pie version, the little sweet pumpkins. That's this. And this is, I think, a pickling cucumber. Let's trellis this in. Just smooth them in, wrap them around. Or fix it later. Let me see if I can find the tag. Okay, so I see the lemon cucumber. Where is my tag for my other cucumbers? This one's scrolling across the ground, so we're going to try to lift it up. I don't want it to attack my celery since it's been in since spring. Celery takes a good while. And I think my other one is Market More pickling cucumbers. So that's all doing good. And then this is a leek. And then some Tokyo bunch and onions. And then I just put 2 more leeks from the supermarket in there. This is, look at the beautiful, beautiful flower. This is acorn squash. So I am just trying to fasten it up if I see that it's fallen over. So this is my squash bed. There's a lot of things starting finally. I was trying to look to see if I actually see one starting to grow. And then big flower. Like, look at these mushrooms. Hopefully that means my soil is really good. So yeah, this I'm a little concerned about. It's so white. I'm not even gonna mess with it, but this is my spaghetti squash. I'm just letting it do its thing. This here is the acorn squash, all right there. And let me show you. So I have the 2 celeries in there and leeks. Purple cabbage that's been in since spring. This is the tomato bed right behind us with the fastening job. Hopefully it does okay. Still just giving them a rattle. And this is the aisle. You can see up it, but I am getting some leaves that look like this. And what I'm doing is I am just removing it. I think it probably suffered some form of damage. Let's see if I can get it off. Look at how bad that leaf looks. I didn't have any of this until that storm happened. So I have to get in here and remove some of these leaves, but there are tomatoes in there. There's tomatoes on this side, doesn't look too bad. Just this one has a little bit more yellowing and it looks like blight. So I'm just gonna cut the leaves off. Marigold. See, this has all these spots on it. And if I follow where it's at, let me just put that down there, just right there. I can just go twist it up and it'll come right off because there's tomatoes in there. I did talk about that. That's cat facing. That happens with certain tomatoes. But there's a lot of tomatoes going on. But this bed here has a lot more blight that's happening and some yellowing because it took a lot of damage from the storm and pushing them all towards the front. You can see by the way that's curving. Yes. I did see something on the Rustic Garden channel that says hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that could treat that. This is the celery inside the pot, which is now starting to get pretty thick. Pretty thick. And then this tower here, I just picked a bunch of beans off of it. Thank God I did too, because my landscapers came and it's dropping to the ground. But this is green beans and wax beans. Benjamin buttons are coming up. Over here is the cantaloupes. Tons of flowers, doing great. This is all my watermelon. I had to stick another trellis in there. And I decided just to keep this jack-o'-lantern. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There are bees over there. There's a flower. And let's see if I could still show you. This is like from a box. You just sprinkle wildflowers. I didn't think it was going to work. It was from the dollar store, so I figured out it's cheap. It's just not going to work. And it did. And there is a watermelon going right there. Flowers. Sunflower with these critters. I'm not sure if it's Japanese lanterns, but I looked it up. It says soap and water, so I've been treating it. Zinnia, all the flowers. Now my leaves to my squash is going over to my potatoes. This is my second round of potatoes. I might get potatoes, I might not. My other one was just an experiment. That looks like a downed sunflower, so that's what the birds do around here. But this is the potato patch, and I held it. And the zucchinis. I picked a couple last night. I will show you that. There's some going on in there, and that's the gray summer. Zucchini. If I see, I'll put you in there. There is a Coco Zella zucchini in there. I just picked from this one last night. Oh, and look, there is another one right there. So finally, my friends, the zucchinis are starting to take off. Look at the size of that. Can y'all see? Let's put our head in here together. It's pretty big right there. It's gray summer zucchini. There's the flowers, doing well. I don't really trim mine because I feel like it's just causes disease by trimming them back. It's gonna die, it's gonna die. For an example, look at all the flowers in there. There's nothing on that one yet, but it has a big gap opening for them to get in there. Beautiful flowers. I just moved the leaves back because I pruned one and I started to see major disease. There's more zucchini down in there. This is the one that I pruned, and you can just see it's having problems now. Look at that. It just doesn't look all that good. I mean, it has some flowers. I just don't like to prune my zucchini. I just like them to find it themselves, the bees, the pollinators, because once you break the stem, the liquid comes out, and they smell that, and it kind of takes over. That's just dirt splashed on that. But yeah, so we'll let that go. Another volunteer sunflower. This is the cucumber patch. I've only gotten one cucumber, but I see another one starting right there. Let me adjust this just slightly. There's a lot of flowers in there. There's plenty of opening for them to get in, but I've been looking. There's one back there. I literally have only gotten one so far. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying. It's back there on the fence. There's one there starting. This is Ashley cucumber. Not sure how I feel about the Ashley. Again, on a sunflower, lots of these types of bugs. I usually just whack them and then make sure they don't jump on me. And then it's vining over the fence. So let me see. There's the cucumber down here. If you can see this right there. So that's 2 that I see, 3 possible, 4. So finally, because it took them a while. Volunteer sunflower. Sunflower. It's just opened this morning. How gorgeous. Staked, but look at it. They're like filled with these. I'm gonna have to come out every single day. I mean, unless anybody else knows what these are, I'm not sure if you're getting the right color. I think they're the Japanese lantern fly or whatever they call those things, but hot soap and water I've been treating it with. But I try to watch. I don't get them in my hair. Some of my sunflowers are turning to my neighbors, which is disappointing because I'd like to see them. More sunflowers. This is that little baby one starting to die off, but there's other little heads there. This is one that was hit by the storm. It's looking better. I may have saved it. Thank God, because I wanted the bees to just enjoy it, and I wanted the seed saved. So there's that. That was staked. So yeah, they're doing okay, my friends. Lost 2, but that's okay. There's that little miniature one. And then we have another one that's starting over there. Zinnia's back there. There's another miniature. Just not sure because I could have sworn I planted, what is it called again? The teddy bear. I might have thought it was a weed and pulled it out. Here is my chamomile. I have to harvest some of that. But even, let's see, my baby ones are not producing yet. But as long as I can get like a half pint to a pint of the chamomile, I will be very happy with that, just to have some for the summer. So that's the chamomile right there, and all the sunflowers. This is that bed I never really talked about. I did a video on it and forgot to post it. I built this sunflower. This is all gigantic California zinnias. This is lemon balm, which I'm looking forward to. And this is bee balm right here, which is getting pretty big. It's doing really well. Lemon balm there, bee balm, all zinnias. Those knockout roses, look, they're finally getting big. More bee balm and another lemon balm. Lemon balm has a lot of medicinal properties for anxiety. Bee balm is like if you're feeling sick, getting a cold, there you go. So that is that section. I also built this over here, which is, I have 2 things I have to transplant, and it did just rain. So blue scotch kale, my edamame, I had to transplant, move them over here. Lasiato kale and dinosaur kale, spare chives. I'm going to plant somewhere else on the property with mint, my spider plant. But I did build this bed right here. So any bed that was built in the ground has brick around it. So let's go back. I showed you all that. Showed you all the beautiful sunflowers. See if I can get you a shot of the yellows that are facing my neighbors, unfortunately. But doing well, and we'll just keep going. I do have mint. It's a little tip in here, in with the eggplant. I did want to say that. But yeah, I'm seeing flowers, but I'm not seeing any of my other eggplants. So the whites took off first. I already showed you the tower, volunteer sunflower. I'm gonna have to take that out of there because that's gonna look ridiculous. And zucchini bed. Like I said, I did do a major, the leaves were all the way down to the ground. I did a major cleanup of the cabbages, and they're still alive, thank God. In love, can I say in love again with my mint. Big gigantic snowball. I harvested some. I've tried some already, and I still have a bunch. The basil I already talked about. Those I threw. I will go back and pick them up. Do not leave your things laying around on the ground like that. All the different cucumbers, celery, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and acorn squash. Right there. Tomatoes. Celery doing fantastic. Jack-o'-lantern. Sunflower. 2 different types of watermelon in here. Just doing great. Cantaloupe. Sorry. Let me push this down. Cantaloupe I don't care for, but I'm growing it for my family and for my roommate. The tower is all beans and some Benjamin buttons. Another sunflower. Tomatoes. Oh, I need so many prayers for my tomatoes. The one bed's the one scaring me because it has a lot of yellowing underneath, so I'll have to figure that one out. And the beans, told you that, it's doing great. Sweet basil right there. Lots of tomatoes on the bottoms. I don't know what's going on in the middle. And I think it's this one that's really heavy and was pushed really bad. It's the one that has a lot of yellowing leaves underneath. So I have to get under there, finish doing that. But this is doing pretty good. More basil in this tomato bed. Tomatoes. But you see how it's so pushed? Hopefully it works. And just lots and lots of peppers. Lots of peppers. A little bit of a pollinator up the middle. This was dying off from the heat, and now it's coming back from this lovely rain we just had. So I'll just pick them off. So yeah, I think I may have covered everything. All sweet peppers, hot, half sweet. I did a video on hitting that with fish emulsion, sugar snap peas, the sweet potatoes. Let me know if I need to trellis them. Eggplants are doing well. Carrots are coming up. Zinnias are out of this world. All the squashes, zucchini's doing pretty good. Tip, have another backup zucchini to drop in the hole if you do get disease. And try to get underneath your tomato plants and get out any bad leaves. Beans are doing well. I'm going to give them some nitrogen. This tomato bed is doing pretty good. Herbs are doing good. Kitchen herb garden is good. I still have to fasten up a, there's a bird. And I planted some extra seeds over there. So let's see if we could chase the robin away. Come on, get going. Real live time, folks. That's what I deal with. Yeah, back to the zucchini, like a summer squash. You still have time for that. It's like 50 days. So should have the extra seeds and plant it now, so that if you get the disease, you can plop another one right in the hole. So in love with the flowers. They are gorge. So hopefully, like I said, my big goal was a lot of pickles this year. So I'm trying to do, I planted the seeds of another type of cucumber I'm familiar with. This is Ashley cucumber that I'm not familiar with, and it was really slow going, and it's trellising up the fence. I don't even care. But I want a lot of pickles this year. I wanted a lot of zucchini for different recipes and a lot of beans. Of course, I want peppers and tomatoes, but that was a big goal of mine. So I think I covered it all. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Garden tour. I will put the number, because after a while you end up forgetting. This might be 6 or 7. And super excited. So volunteer through the fence of a sunflower in that pot. I'm going to end up taking it out. Super excited about my chamomile. I hope the little ones grow a little bit bigger. But I'm trying to harvest as much as possible. You can just pinch the heads off like this. I've already did some. It's definitely not enough to even fill up a jam jelly jar yet. The lemon balm, the bee balm, and I have something else that's going on. I will show you as soon as I get it done. Of all the extra tomatoes and peppers, I kept saying I was doing it in ground. See what I mean about these cabbage moths? I don't think they just go for cabbage anymore. They try to go on my pepper plants. Just crazy. They try to go into my tomato plants. But I do have some wasps on. Look at the bees. And this is why I really wanted the sunflowers, because they love them. Brings them back here to pollinate everything. So that is this week's garden tour. So I do need to trellis this up when I'm done, which is the lima beans. All the bush beans are doing good and they're starting to come in. I could probably start harvesting some basil, but a little bit at a time. I did fill a whole jar of mint. See, green beans. These are the yellow wax beans. And this is in the dollar store trellis. I wanted to make a point to that. During that almost hurricane that we had, these didn't knock over. I think I planted some peas. So I'm going to save the seeds to this. They're fine. They didn't get hurt, damaged. They didn't blow over. Nothing. But lots of luck on these watermelons. They're pretty close. It's 2 different kinds. 3 different kinds, I think. And then cantaloupes. I don't like cantaloupe. So that is everything. Let me walk around. I haven't been able to even enjoy my bistro table. That sets out a flame. You can see this is how much water we got. I would like a rain gauge so I can see that's how much rain we got. But I haven't been able to enjoy my bistro set because it's been too god-awful hot. But I like to sit there and enjoy my coffee. So here's just an overall. As you can see, the Chinese red noodle beans are going up the lights. I don't care at this point. There's the other one. There's my gnome being buried. But look at how beautiful that color is. Absolutely beautiful. If you know me, I'm in love with sunflowers, zinnias, alyssum. Oh, the alyssum's out front. Wait, the lavender was in a pot. I think that's going to come out because that wasn't looking too good the other day unless the rain just made it look good. Herbs are all doing fine. We're going to skip that on this tour. But flowers look amazing. I'm in love with sunflowers and all types of zinnias. And yeah, so the squash is doing good. It's starting to come in. So is the zucchini. And I'm going to start harvesting some herbs. I could take some of this curly parsley and put it on the dehydrator right now. I have cilantro in my dehydrator. I've already done mint. And I have a pint-sized jar full of mint. And I want to double check this dill. The dill seeds. See if there's any more caterpillars. And I can harvest some of the sage to dry it. But I like to have sage in multiple spots because, little trick, I put it in a mason jar, ice cold water. I empty it every 4 days, but I put it in the back of my fridge. And I have plenty of sage for the holidays. I never go without growing sage. Let me see if I left out a basil here. This is large leaf basil right there. I did steal some from that and plant it elsewhere. This was the plant that was totally down on the ground. I did some pruning yesterday, tried my best. It's the best I can do to get that plant up. A lot of it broke, and yeah, from the storm. So that is this week's tour. I hope that you enjoyed it. I will continue doing tours all the way through to where I can't plant anymore. This is Grow Zone 7B in Pennsylvania. You're looking at a cow horn right now. And yeah, I think there's some peppers we could be harvesting. Shishito peppers. I ate one green. It tastes like a regular pepper. Red. Jess from Roots and Refuge turned me on to this. And she said you use a cast iron and fry them up that way and they're really good. So, and unfortunately this habanero is still in a pot. So I don't know. There are some things I'm going to try to overwinter, and I'm also going to try my darndest to have a fall garden. So look out for that video on what seeds I'm planting. The only thing I planted right now was some extra cucumbers and some extra zucchini and 1 spinach to get that going. But I have a lot more seeds to start if I want to have a fall garden. So there you have it, everyone. Stay tuned for the video what I do with the extra plants. Apple trees survived that storm, and they're thin, and they're babies, and they didn't snap with the winds. When you go and you look that way, there's the water right there, so the wind came this way. That's what I think. But there is this week's garden tour. I love you all. Thank you for the support. Subscribe if you have not already, or go in and just make sure you are still subscribed. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think of the garden after the storm, after the cleanup, after a lot of tying up and pruning. There you have it. So I bless you, and until next time, I hope that you have a glorious upcoming weekend. And like I said, the garden tours are done for every Saturday, as long as there is a growing season. So I'm Melody from Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It Homestead, Grow Zone 7B, and I hope you enjoyed this tour, and I will see you on the next one. Have a blessed day. Goodbye, everyone.